And we are live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Hello, 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 hello. What is up, people? On this fine Sunday that we've given a chance to have breath, discuss, right, and try to make it do what it do for one more week, right? Of course, this is Seejeanty, Haiti Biz News Show. We talk about news, current events as it relates to macroeconomic condition and what folks are doing, how folks are reacting, how folks are moving in country, in Haiti. Brought to you by your boy Seejeanty, right here. En villa, non villa, là, à partager somewhere, à partager experience là avec nous, en anglais, because there's no other place online that gives the level of detail and information that I need in English. Right? There's a million different sites, a million different radio stations. If y'all guys are really that interested in Creole, alaba over here, doing it for folks who set in the Haitian set, but still want to keep that understanding what's going on in country from a guy in country, right? Got a real action-packed show ahead of us. In addition to, I should have changed my headline. I'm gonna have to update my headline. We have a special guest this episode. We have a very special guest, Claude Marcus Beau. He'll be joining us for the second half of the show. I'm gonna say it again, Claude Marcus Beau. Excuse me there. Will be joining us for the second half of the show. Right, I have to stop having this coffee and all that in the start of this before I get on air. It's a little too gazzy. But Claude Marcus Beau will be joining us. He is an incredible individual who's doing some great work, Taiwan, China, Haiti, to bridge the gap and increase business opportunities. And so he's going to be joining us on the stream, discussing how he sees things, and ultimately the opportunity that exists as a special guest here of the cast. So again, just make sure you don't turn away, or if you do come back, it's going to be a really good episode, right? And per usual, make sure that if you haven't subscribed, you haven't been to YouTube Seejeanty, make sure you do that, right? Make sure you do that. You have we drop some incredible content every week. YouTube Seejeanty. Most recently, we visited Solo Bag by an entrepreneur by the name of Mark Bello, who's doing some incredible stuff with material, right? In this case, a backpack. And it has a solar panel in the back and gives a lot of Haitians the opportunity to have portable power, right? To charge their phones, to have light in the evenings. And I'm telling you, it's an episode you want to watch. I've been wanting to share his story on Seejeanty for some time, and we have it. Right? So make sure you go check that out. And the Haiti Biz News website, of course, everything we talk about here will be on the Haiti Biz News site. Of course, it's streaming underneath there. If you see it, it's streaming underneath there. The www.haitibiznews.com, right? Do make sure you take a look and check. Even when we're not on air, you can always stay in the know with the information there, right? And of course, the ROI on this stream improves tremendously the more people who are here, the more people who are part of this conversation. So make sure on Facebook, hit that share button, get it on your personal page, get it in the group, right, that you think might value this. Same thing on YouTube, hit that share button, share it share it to your WhatsApp, share it on your Facebook, and get some more folks in here. It's a conversation we're having. All comments are read on air, even the dumb ones, but they're mostly good, right? Your perspective is valuable, and even if it's a question that's been asked before, there's people on the stream that may have not heard me answer it. So it's asked away. It's you guys are my co-host, right? And that's why I do it live. That's why I used to do this more of a pre-recorded, edited sort of episodic thing. But I thought, a few times I did it as a live. I enjoyed it very much, and I certainly thought it was something worth continuing. So here we are. Right. So G Darius, good morning. You know, the wife Seejeanty is in the chat. Good morning, babe. We got Randy Vincent. Good morning. Good morning. We got Nadej Augustin in here asking some questions. And of course, the headline does say kidnapping, and we'll be talking about it. So sit tight. We'll be talking about it. Right. We do have some folks coming into the IG. Waving Cloud 410. Hello, hello. Everyone else who's popping in, popping out. Over on there. Good morning, and hope you stick around. We have a really good action-packed show ahead of us, right? So headlines. So let's do a little preview of what we got to talk about today. We're going to talk about the kidnapping, right? And that's a question I've been flooded with each content I drop, DMs. How's this? How's the kidnapping? How's this? So we'll be talking about, is it safe? We'll be talking about it. We got PNH agents clamoring for a formal union, right? We're going to be talking about that, right? We have a very, very sad news. An orphanage has burnt down. We're going to be talking about that, right? Very sad news, but we're going to be talking about it. Artifacts returned to Haiti, right? Over 479 artifacts returned. We're going to talk about that, though. Talk about that. Clean energy for cooking. $1 million project being launched for cooking, right? So look out for that. We're going to be talking about that. EDH no longer subsidized. I've talked about this in the past, but we're going to give a little more context with that piece of information. And then Miami terminal, airport, something going on there. We're going to talk about that today. All right. So those are the headlines in brief. We're going to deep dive into them. There's some interesting stuff, and of course. At about an hour from now, 40 minutes from now, 45 minutes, we're gonna have Claude Marcus Bow coming to join us. He's gonna, hopefully he'll be able to get in here, and he has a company called IMAR Group, and what they do is they work with Haitians looking to do business with Chinese products, and get them developed in China, and then bring a finished product, uniquely customed, to the Haitian market, to Haiti, right? And that's certainly for as many folks who talk about the negativity of the West, and IMF is doing this, and the Clintons, and you know, we live in a geo. We can't put fences up and just live in our bubble. You know, if you don't like America, you got to partner up with someone else. China's an alternative. We're going to talk about that. And I'm looking forward to that piece. So make sure you stick around to be a part of that conversation with Marcus, and of course you'll be able to ask him questions live on air that you may have. All right. So we got Living with Nico and Gino. What's up? Good morning. Good to see you. Bouncing Bougie 11. Bouncing Bougie 11. Good morning. Good to see you. Happy to have you guys back. My regulars back in here. Certainly really good to see you. All right. So let's talk about it. Right. Kidnapping. Top story. So much so I'm having to open up with it. Right. Kidnapping. Let's talk about it. All right. So it's been making headlines across really, wherever there's Haitians. A lot of rumors have been swirling, and some facts, right? And so here are the facts. The facts are, there has been a massive spike in kidnapping. There's always have been some here and there kidnapping that's happened since that very first spike back in the early 2000s, where there was arrest made, and it was head of a very large ring was arrested, and since then it's more or less died down. But this has been a massive spike, and what has made this version unique is that it's indiscriminate. It's been kidnappings of school children. It's been kidnappings of just blue-collared working folks who are just coming home from work, from an office job. It's been kidnappings of a lot of it has been students, right, coming home from school, and it hasn't been necessarily doesn't really matter if you have money, right? They're not necessarily targeting people who look a certain way, who are driving a certain car. You know, it's strictly a situation of who is vulnerable, who is perhaps by themselves walking down a side street, and who's by themselves early morning or even after, even after broad daylight, and car will pull up. Someone with a weapon will brandish a gun, get in the car, and they'll get in the car, right? And it hasn't been just a single person either. There's been instances and stories where there has been, 2, 3, 4, highest count I've heard as much as five, young adults being kidnapped at once. And furthermore, what's made it, I guess, really pushed it in the headlines has been the fact that it's been, in some cases, the people who have been kidnapped have not survived. What does that mean, right? The money deadline perhaps doesn't get hit, or in some particular heinous cases, the money is provided to the kidnappers, and yet the kidnapped do not survive, right? And those are really gotten the attention of a lot of the Haitian diaspora radio stations, and thus getting your parents talking about it, and ultimately, you hearing about it, right? So I don't want to discount some of the stories that have gone out. A lot of them have been validated and substantiated. Personally, I can tell you that I live in the country. I can tell you that I've had neighbors in the beginning of this week, in particular. In the beginning of this week, they weren't sending their kids home to school. Sorry, they weren't sending their kids to school. I know it went 2 or 3 days, and that's sort of when it got serious to me, right? When it got, before it was an annoyance, it was something that was happening in certain parts, and which is the other thing too. It's happening. It is. I guess towards the second half of this week, it has died down with the incredible increase of police presence, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But in the first half of the week, probably on Monday or Tuesday, it hit home to me because I had neighbors who weren't sending their kids home, and I said, I see your kids here. What's going on? Oh no, our school. There was 2 kids kidnapped from our school. This is Tuesday, so on Monday night. So we're not sending our kids to school, right? So that's when it hit home to me. And this is in my neighborhood in Pitcherville, and things are quiet. This is when something, whatever's going on in the country, hits here. No, things are serious, and it's happening everywhere, right? Where I reside, right? So when that happened, and I had neighbors who were telling me those stories, right? And there's nothing, and that wasn't just her. It was I had 2, 3 other people. As I started talking to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, I had a cousin who, same thing. Recently was kidnapped." And again, how it gets resolved, I don't necessarily follow up, but it's happening. It was happening, right? Is happening. Is happening. I can't. It's still a lot of murkiness to the frequency. And to be honest, I was aware of instances, rumors of it happening almost a month ago, right? But this is one of those things that it sort of grows almost like a cancer. By the time you realize you have it, it's almost too late, right? Why? Because when you get kidnapped, what happens? The kidnappers don't want the news to necessarily spread. You're not supposed to spread it, right? You're supposed to go to the police technically, right? You're supposed to deal with the kidnappers, get the money, and then get your kids back, or whoever gets kidnapped, right? And so you can imagine, again, even after you get your person back, there might be reprisals if they find out that you went to the police. Because one of the stipulations is you don't go to the police. So because this isn't necessarily being reported, and it's happening, it can happen and grow for quite some time before it gets out to the broader mass of society. And so, I heard it happening, and you hear a lot of things happening when you live in Haiti. But it really came to a head within the past week or two with a massive insurgent of kidnapping. Now, we can certainly talk about what the response is. Before we do, why is it happening? Understand something in Haiti. The biggest thing you need to understand with this country is that nothing happens by mistake, right? Things do not get to a point where they are without there being a first mover, a driver, as it were, right? And the biggest misconception with the country is that, and again, I've been here fine and safe, is that anyone who's actually come to the country once realized very quickly that the notion of this country is unsafe by its definition, by its essence, is wrong. Right? You meet Haitians here, most Haitians will give you the salt in the back off their shirts to help you out. They're very much welcoming. You can walk around more or less, if you're not flashing, you dress simply, you're fine, right? When you see things happen, what is true is that there's usually let me put it in a sense to make you understand. So I don't sound like a conspiracy theorist. That's the last thing I want to become. And this program is never going to become a conspiracy theorist podcast. This is not InfoWars, right? So let me put this in a context everyone can appreciate and understand. Jamaica, right? Jamaica is an incredibly violent country, and I'm not saying this to disparage Jamaica. I've said this before. My friends who are very familiar with Jamaica, who go back and forth Jamaica, they say, "Yeah, man, yeah, man, I'll stop you when you say something offensive." Right, and so what I'm saying next is just the stats. The crime rate, the murder rate in Jamaica is incredibly high. I'm talking about it's just a few notches below Nicaragua and Honduras in terms of the amount of murders per capita that happens in Jamaica. And the thing is that in Jamaica, understand the history of the violence that's happened there. It also doesn't happen in a bubble, right? In Jamaica, especially in the early 90s, a lot of the violence was fueled by political parties giving guns, resources, and direction to certain blocks to go after other neighborhood blocks of another political party. And so for a long time, a lot of the violence was fueled by political parties, giving money and guns to other political parties and building up gangs that in effect, did very heinous things. Right? Now, since that era has sort of went away, where political parties are the drivers of the violence, the gangs that benefited from that initially now have moved on to drugs, Colombia cocaine and Mexican marijuana. They have to go through and go somewhere, right? And Jamaica is a very convenient hotspot and step for it to happen. And within recent decades, a lot of the gang violence has been fueled because of that, right? But understand the historical context, and to some extent, depending who you ask, it's still happening where you have political parties in Jamaica fueling gang violence and very heinous acts, to destabilize and to scare and for different motives for them to gain power and favor themselves, right? And it's a race to the bottom in effect in Jamaica. Now that you understand when I say this, a lot of the stuff that's happening right now, the vast majority of the stuff happening right now in Haiti is related to political actors using very heinous acts and gangs to advance their political motives. They realized they couldn't necessarily fuel the desert because there were legitimate grievances of why people were on the streets in the past, Paylock. And they were influencing a very small percentage of those people to go and do very heinous things during the protests, right? It wasn't successful, as you saw. King Moise, as he's called now, survived, and he's ruling by decree. But that doesn't mean they're going to stop. It's understood, right? As you talk to more and more people, right? And I'm blessed with this, since I've been able to meet a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds here in Haiti. that, a lot of this is being fueled legitimately by political actors looking to destabilize, you know, um, the situation of Joe Moise by any means necessary. And if it means telling gangsters to go kidnap kids and kill these kids even after they get the money, that is not beneath them to get what they want, which is access to power, because access to power in Haiti is the holy grail, right? You get a guy who didn't have enough money to buy, spaghetti in the streets. After 4 or 5 years, in political power, he has 4 or 5 mansions. He has a cadre of cars, cadre of mistresses. He has homes in Florida. He has homes in New York. I'm not kidding, right? And so, you know, if the difference between you not having enough money to buy spaghetti in the streets and that lifestyle I just described, what would you do to protect that? And what would you do to get access to that? You would do anything and everything to especially since culturally Haitians do not have necessarily a history of not only working together, but in particularly viewing each other as one people. Haitians have always, for just history, what can I do to succeed, regardless of the next door neighbor or the person next to me, right? And so when you combine those two things together, the cause, that is the cause. And one of the things I promise you, when arrests start being made, you are going to be very surprised who gets arrested, because it is going to be a high-ranking senator, it's going to be a high-ranking deputy, it's going to be someone from an elite family who at the end of the day, just as it was before, again, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory channel or show that I do here. I just look at the facts, look at history. And last time this has happened, Brandt, one of the top elite families, that guy was arrested because he was convicted, and proven that he was a part of a very large kidnapping ring. And we fully expect that is what's going to happen here in this case. Now, what has the police been doing? The police there's a specific division in PNH who handles kidnapping. They've changed the director. They've also changed the director of DCPG, which is like the FBI sort of investigative unit. That has been changed with someone else. The Delma, where a lot of these kidnappings were happening, the head of the police station for that commune has been changed. Someone else has been put in there. There's been a directive by the police, and where in effect we're in a state of emergency, where the police are producing much more aggressive tactics to get and curtail this activity. In particular, searching vehicles. A lot more checkpoints are happening throughout the city, and vehicles are being checked. Even my own vehicle has been checked. At least it was twice this week. Where literally you have to open the trunk and take a look, make sure there's no guns, make sure there's no kidnapped body in there. There has been arrests have been made. There have been arrests of at least a dozen kidnappers so far, low ranking though, just common thugs. They've been arrested. There have been instances where CIMO, which is an elite police unit, sort of like the SWAT team, have actually come across kidnappings in progress and have stopped, arrested, and killed kidnappers. Right? So certainly I don't want to make it seem as if nothing's being done. There is stuff being done. There's arrests being made. And again, all resources have been dedicated to this. And again, this is something Haitian police have had experience with. It's not the first go around. When it gets to this level, they have protocols in place. And I have full faith and confidence that PNH will and are getting ahead of this, and will get a level of security back to the country. I guess I probably want to leave off with this piece of information, which is the kidnapping really isn't happening necessarily to foreigners, right? Folks who are coming in, going to the resorts, going to hotels, looking to have a good time. There has been any stories of that happening, right? It's literally, the Haitian natives, the people who are living here day to day, and not even those of means, just regular Malay, folks trying to advance their lives. They've been the ones who've been targets of kidnapping, and most importantly, the areas that have always been particularly hotbeds have seen exponentially more versus other places. Matissa, they've been dealing with this issue for a long time. It spiked to a point where it was like, I don't know, 20, 30 kidnappings a week. So those areas that were always been trouble hotspots have actually spiked and seen very large increases, right? So so I think that's where I'm going to end it. I think if someone had asked me, hey Chris, can I come? Seejeanty, can I come to Haiti? I said absolutely. Still come. It's not like, again, I haven't been a person who told people not to come. Doing paid lock, I was telling people not to come, just not because it was unsafe. Even then, it was safe. It was just that you couldn't go anywhere, right? The roads were being blocked. There's no way you can go and do anything. And that's not fun to come to a country and you're stuck because there's road blockages everywhere. And in this case, I still tell folks to come. It's just you're not. Listen, I put it like this, guys. I shot an episode yesterday. You guys know I do a series called Walking in Haiti, where I have a GoPro on my chest and I just walk around. Right, I dropped the episode last week, walking in Pitchonville. I shot an episode yesterday, walking in Delma, Woot Delma. Right, and that's coming out. I'm looking to drop that maybe Tuesday. So make sure you're subscribed, notifications on. And I'm fine. First off, I'm here. I'm talking to you. I'm not kidnapped. And if anybody looks like a freaking diaspora, look at this guy. There's not too many Haitians with beards this thick. You hear me? And this gun of mine kind of gives me away as an American. I'm not gonna stand up, okay? But let me tell you, this gun, it makes people think, yeah, chances are he's probably an American, right? I'm fine. And at no point that I feel unsafe, right? So I just want to make it very clear, that you can't come to the country and you'll be fine. But there is kidnapping happening, affecting those who are most vulnerable. But PNH, police of Haiti, they're getting ahead of it. They're putting resources, and there are going to be major arrests coming. One or two major arrests. When I say major arrests, you get someone at the organizational level who's organizing these things, or what we suspect really going on is paying for this. Who gets arrested? You're going to see a big slowdown in what's happening right now. But the reality too is, I know this is that. Haiti toujours going this café. Always something going on somewhere, right? And of course it's important to be on the pulse of things, right? But I can tell you, the very worst of it was paid lock, and paid lock was navigable only because the roads were blocked. I have still not yet been in the country in a situation where I have felt unsafe. And I've told the story a dozen times. I felt more unsafe when I owned a home on the south side of Chicago, right? I felt more unsafe living on the south side of Chicago. I walked one time from the bus station to my home on the south side, and I said, I'm never walking on my bare feet again, because I legitimately felt at any time somebody could randomly drive by and gun me down. Like I swear. I mean, I generally felt like that. I've never felt like that in Haiti, right? So take that for what it's worth. You don't have to believe me. I'm still be in country. I'm still be enjoying my mangoes and pistache and prestige. You know what I mean? And if folks want to buy the hype and buy the negative image that's being sold to us and not visit your country, more power to you, I guess. Enjoy your Starbucks in America. But again, it is very serious, and and the PNH is getting ahead of it. And I promise you, I look forward to reporting 1 or 2 major arrests that have been made in the coming weeks. Okay, so let's take a look at the comments and see what folks are saying. Let's see, we got Golden 2020. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Evie, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning. Edwin Williams, good morning. Good to see you back. Good to see you. Killer Panda, haven't seen you in here. So right back to you. Good to see you again. Manasa Musa, I've heard that Jamaica is more violent than Haiti, but you don't hear about it, right? Exactly. I mean, and it goes back to what I was saying, like where the violence in Jamaica really, I don't want to say it like this, but it doesn't affect the tourists, right? It affects the native Jamaicans who are living there, trying to, and even then, a good amount of the killings happen among gangs in Jamaica, where not even the regular Jamaican doesn't necessarily feel it, but at times it does spike high enough to where robberies and muggings and stuff like that does affect enough regular, white collar, blue collar Jamaicans. And just last year, there was 3 state of emergencies that happened in Jamaica, where they just basically shut down curfews because of the violence and crime that increased so much. But it doesn't affect tourists, and you don't hear much about it because tourists never get affected, right? And the international community only comes up in arms. Let an American from the middle of Nebraska get a paper cut in Haiti, and you see CNN and Fox flooding. And the fact that that hasn't happened just goes to show you that you yourself coming to the country, you will be fine, right? We got Daniel Dodard. Back in the day, I used to watch my family members glued to radio getting Haiti news. Now I'm glued to YouTube getting Haiti news. Yeah, there's a lot of Haitian YouTube channels that provide news just in the same, whatever is bad sells without context sells, certainly. And that's why I tell folks, she says, nouvelle ça ouvre là-bas, right? We're here, we do it in English, and we do it in a way that we're thinking. we're putting things in context, right? So thank you, Daniel. We got Jean Dorneville, excusez-moi. Is the negative image being sold, or is it truly the state of the country? I think I've already answered that. Again, I've lived here. I feel more safe here than I did living on the south side of Chicago. And the best way to answer that, Gene, is to come. You know what I mean? I think you'll see in 5 minutes here in the country, and you'll see that the negative image is being sold, right? That's all I can tell you, my friend. My Liberté, let's see, Nadej Augustin, can you add me, please? I'm not sure what that means. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be in the know of the content that's happening, Nadej. My Liberté Financière says Kingston, Jamaica is one of the 10 most violent cities. I believe so, statistics-wise. We'll probably confirm that. Shanila Mill, good morning, good to see you. Molina Jean Lewis, thank you for providing your perspective on kidnappers. A lot of us have been curious about it since we've been traveling to Haiti, since those were reached. I mean, again, it's a legitimate concern. It's a legitimate concern. I think a lot of folks have hit me up, especially, given that I am becoming the mascot of Haiti, right? Fine, that's fine. Legitimate concern. That's why I don't necessarily. That's why I'm spending so much time talking about it this morning. But do understand that with again, even in this case, you want to know, is it really affecting everyone, and is it ambiguous as is being reported? And again, it's a problem right now, but I would not cancel a trip because of it. It depends where you're going, I suppose. If you're going to a resort or going to a hotel, you're going to be on the hotel most of the time, you'll be fine, right? If you're going to un famille qui est matisant en plus, and then definitely tell you stay home, right? It depends where you're going. If you have a property that you're going to be staying in City Soleil, I'd probably tell you stay home, right? There's certain hotspots that are particularly prone to crime in general, right? Molina Jean Lewis, thank you for providing your perspective on the kidnappers. A lot of us have been curious about it since about it, especially that we will be traveling. Okay, I already answered that. My bad. Evie, that's so unfortunate. Our people are in a state of terror. Your positivity and steps toward the police are taking and reassuring. And I'm not going to give up on my plans to go back home. Absolutely, Evie. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you're saying there. And then, are you afraid you one day be a political target? That's a great question. That's a great question, right? Because first off, I think, as you guys know, I don't talk politics, right? I talk politics only as so much as I have to for you guys to understand the overall context and how it's affecting the economic condition, right? You know, but again, you think I want to spend so far 20 minutes talking about kidnapping rather than legitimate business news that's happening in the country? Absolutely not, right? This show, if you've been following along long enough, I don't take a particular side. You know, listen, Jovenel Moise, tomorrow I will come on air and wear a Jovenel Moise hat if the dude would do certain things that I know needs to be done. Change the business laws, make it easier to register, make it easier to file your taxes, some of the structural things that need to be done. Hey, you know, the decree, make it easier for Haitians to get involved politically. Not me, but Haitians in general. Okay, we're back. All right, it flickered away for a little bit there. Okay, and so I come in with the biggest. Biggest Joe Moise had. I'm impartial. I want results, right? And because of that, I don't think and spend time with Claude, who will be coming. So I'm gonna hit these news stories, and then we're gonna circle back and then talk about them. Right? Just because I want to make sure I hit them. We're not necessarily as rushed as we may become if I don't really just knock these stories out. Okay, so here we go. So the next big story relates to the PNS agents and wanting to form a union. There's a desire, there's a need, there's a want to create a union for. Oh, wait a minute. We have Know It All telling me it's dead on YouTube. It's dead on YouTube. Y'all talk to me. Bonjour tout le monde qui j'ennuyé. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody on YouTube necessarily. I saw a comment go through right now. Let me type something in. All right, I just sent something out there on YouTube land, and I'm waiting to see if you guys comment. Tell me how I'm looking. Like I already got somebody on IG telling me I'm not looking too good. Say yep. Okay, all right. Looks like we're good. It's back now. Okay, it's working now. Okay, so it was down there. Okay, yeah, I'm not too sure. It wasn't working for a while. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you guys got a good chunk of what I was saying before. I think we did. All right. So let's knock out these news stories. All right. So we have PNH agents clamoring for a former union, right? And they're saying no. The administration of Jovenel is saying no because of they're saying international law says that the military and the police can't have police unions. It's against the public good right? Especially if they went on strike or something like that. Furthermore, they said that 99% of what they've been asking for, which is the end goal of the union, salary increases, certain privileges, certain aid, certain assistance for the families if someone was to be killed. They're also going to provide that, be working on that, right? And so it's a big back and forth. We'll keep an eye on that just because, it is interesting that you're seeing so many police vocalizing their dissatisfaction with their working conditions. And given that right now the police is the very thin layer of stabilization, and the fact that there's so many discontent even there, it's just something we're keeping a very close eye on and watching. Of course, when we have more news, we'll give it. But again, Prime Minister Le Pen went on air and said that 99% of what the police are asking for, they are going to provide and or work towards, right? So next news story has to do with a very sad piece of news. Orphanage burnt down. 15 children are dead because of, so the official reason for it happening, this happened over in Frama, near Kenskov, is because of a candle. Candle tipped over and burnt. Started burning one floor, and the kids ran up. Let's see something. Ooh. Okay, so thanks, Esnog, for the sound check. That should clear up things. I went up to the settings and found out that my main mic wasn't the one receiving the sound. It was another, and there was another part of the computer setup that was receiving. So the sound should be improved there. So thanks, Esnog, for the sound check. But 15 children were killed. And again, you can ask yourself, where are the generators? You can ask yourself, where were the where are the solar panels? The conditions were described as filthy, prison-like. Now, the orphanage was run by a company called Church's Bible of Understanding out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. They reported $6.6 million in revenue per their public filings. So, not-for-profits have to publicly file and have their information accessible to the public. 2.2 million in expenses, right? And the Institute of Social Welfare and Research, this is basically the regulating body above them, shut them down actually and discredited them. Non-accredited them back in 2012, and they should have been shut down immediately afterwards, right? They gave them a window to try to improve conditions, but never been back since 2012. They've been in operation 2020 now, and now we have 15 kids, 15 young children dead, right? The failures here, are multiple levels, and not only, of course, we live in a very poor society where, honestly, there estimates to be about 25,000, almost 26,000 kids living in orphanages. 80% of these orphans have a single living parent. They're not, the definition of orphanage is what? Orphans who have what? No parents. 80% of them have a parent, right? The reality is they're being given away because the parents are unable to provide for them, right? 80% of the parents are unable to provide for them, which is problematic, right? Right. I do have one person saying the screen is freezing for them. So let me know how it's coming for you guys. I'll try to reboot my router if it's still acting up. Or lawsuits. I mean, it just happened. We certainly there's been a rash of orphanages that have, the government finally has gotten off their feet and started taking kids out of the ones that have particularly been known to be bad. We certainly would hope that in America, there's going to be some lawsuits and some things happening to this organization, certainly. And again, if you're in America right now, call your local senator, call your local representative, at least call the one in Pennsylvania, call the police in Pennsylvania, get some investigations going. The NGO is called, the church is called Church of Bible's Understanding, right? So if you're in America right now, you can do something about this. You have to just rely on, Haitian entities. You can do something about it right now. And so that's a very sad news story. Not much to add right now. We're going to see how this story develops. You can see how this story develops, but it's absolutely disheartening. And of course, it's a failure from the government, the Haitian government, because they should have been shut down. It's a failure to the society as a whole when you have so many parents who feel the need to give their kids up because they're unable to get jobs to support them. It's a failure on us, especially those who so blindly give to just any charity, so long as they just say the name Haiti and they're, oh, here's a check, without doing the actual prudence to research to make sure how is the money being spent. What are we doing to reunify parents? Because that's the big push right now. And any place that that is working on reunification with these kids to their families, that's where you want to put your money. And unification also means, how do we help the parent make enough money to be able to support their kids, right? How do we help them entrepreneurially or with jobs so they can support their kids and their kids can stay with them? And so, it's a very sad story, and we'll follow up with it as time goes on. Very hard to transition off that, right? It's so sad. 15 young children. It's very hard. So the next news story is artifacts. We've had a massive amount of artifacts returned to Haiti from America, from the world, but the last point was America. 479 artifacts. They were stolen out of the country, just stolen, and it was and actually recovered by the FBI, and FBI actually provided them back to the Haitian government. A lot of artifacts related to our independence, artifacts related to a lot of our historical figures, their weapons, their clothes, things written, paintings, jewelry, a lot of things of that sort. And over 479 were actually returned back to the Haitian government. And I think that's important. We hope to see them, a lot of these items in our museum. The main museum is Munapa. If you haven't been there, make sure to make a point to visit Munapa. It's in Chamas. And it's a beautiful museum built under the Duvalier regime. That really, when you go in there, it is, you're like, man, we should have more of these. Right? We should have more, because so many of our cities really have historical importance. Okap is an incredibly important city, and there's so many subsets of our country that contributed to world history, right? From the Jacmel, and for example, the fact that, I don't know if y'all know this, Jacmel was the first city in the entire Caribbean with electricity, right? So that's an important news story, and we're certainly happy that it's happened. The next news story relates to clean energy, right? There's $1 million the NGO Caritas Switzerland, funded by the EU and the EU Development Fund, has started a $1 million program to basically provide stove tops and pellets made from sawmill residue, to prevent or reduce the use of charcoal, right? In addition, a lot of that money is going to be spent to rehabilitating mangroves and certain wooded areas surrounding the Port-au-Prince area. A much needed program, a program that certainly wish the Haitian government would take on. Jamaica, Jamaica's not all bad. Jamaica, in fact, has been one of the leading countries in the Caribbean in reducing the deforestation that was happening in Jamaica by providing a lot of their poorer rural people to get access to stovepots, to get access to natural gas at a very much subsidized rate. And so these people who are living out, in the provinces where the most charcoal use happens, they've in effect subsidized that and made it now cheaper to use that versus going out and cutting a tree and then trying to resell it. They've in fact, basically just, totally node the charcoal market in their country, right? And so that's something certainly we need here in Haiti to improve, right? Right? See, fair and balanced there. I report good stuff too on everybody and everything, right? And so that's an important news story. Next news story does have to do with EDH no longer being subsidized. For the past 3-4 months, EDH has, so EDH, for those who don't know, is the electricity company of Haiti, right? They manage the electricity grid in the country. Now, understand they've had in the past the difference between the money they bring in, right? The people who are paying their electricity bills, basically, and the money that goes out between the maintenance. And the EDH does also provide some very small grids of electricity and et cetera, has always been disproportionate. Their expense versus the revenue is pretty high. The shortfall each month, in fact, is around somewhere around $30 million or $40 million. I would have to take a look at my notes to see what my past research on this has been, but it's large. It's effective. They're only collecting 30 to 40% of the revenue they should be collecting each particular period, right? And so the difference for a long time was being provided by the state. The state was providing that difference. The state has stopped, right, for reasons related in particular to the state, quote unquote, trying to do the right thing physically, and in particular related to the fact that the state really does want to remove themselves from the subsidized energy market. Again, that's one of the reasons why we had the push, the very big flare up when Jovenel initially raised the prices of gasoline and petrol at 50%, and you saw what happened. So they're unable to do that right now. So they're looking at other ways to get themselves out of the energy, the subsidized energy market. And EDH is a place they feel they can get away with it. Most folks, the reality is most Haitians don't even pay their EDH bill in the first place, which is why the revenue shortfall is what it is. So they're like, yeah, they're not paying anyways, so we're just going to stop subsidizing it. And so now really the way forward for EDH is for them to figure out how to get people to pay their electricity bill, right? And I can tell you, for a long time, they didn't make it easier. I know for the first 2 years I was here, only recently, that they actually started accepting credit cards, right? It's not easy. A lot of times when you go, I've been to the EDH a few times, and their computer systems are down. They can't even pull up your account. You give them their account number. Yeah, you get problem avec signal là. You get problem avec satellite. What sector are you in, right? That you're having signal problems at a bureau. Though I can't talk. I've been having issues with my stream for the past 3-4 episodes, but maybe I can't talk about the strength of signals and stuff. But as a government agency with I would think infinite funds, relative to me, right? You should at least be able to do fundamental things like, be able to connect your database systems and be able to allow people to give you money, right? And a lot of times they can't pull up your account, so you can't even give them money. You have to come back, right? So there's certain things that needs to be done to make it easier to pay if you're looking to pay, and then go after the money. Hire an army of collection agents who just, I don't want to say harass, but every day knock on the door. Hey, hello, sir, madam, you haven't paid your bill. Hello, sir, madam, you haven't paid your bill. Hello, madam, monsieur, right? Make it annoying. And make it known that, hey, you need to pay your bill, right? Because the thing is, understand something. You can say, well, Haitians don't have jobs. Where are they going to get the money to pay? Can I tell you something? Haitians have to pay for everything. your water that you drink, they have to go and refill it because there's no water in the tap like you guys are used to. They have to go out and pay it. The water you take showers with, there's water trucks that come to your home, and everyone who builds a home have to make this massive hole in the ground to store their bathing and plate washing water, right? You pay for that, right? Food, you pay for that. Everything else in Haiti you pay for up front before you can use it. Electricity is the only thing that has this weird concept of, well, they don't have jobs. The state needs to give it to them for free. That's not how anything works, man. You pay for it. How can you give the electricity if you don't pay for it? And if you're not paying for it, how can there be additional investments and growth in the economy if there can't be a steady? Because that's one reason why investment in power plants by large private entities international won't come to Haiti, because it's like, all right, cool, we'll give you $100 million to make a power plant, but then how would you pay us back? It's a loan, right? How would you pay us back if culturally people aren't used to knowing to pay their electricity bill? You see what I'm saying? I know it's a chicken or egg sort of deal, but you got to pay. You have to put a structure in place to get people to be able to pay the electricity bills that they're paying. I mean, you look at Boonaville and you see a plethora of wires coming out of the electricity poles each morning. That's unsustainable and untenable, right? The last news story has to do with Seejeanty terminal, right? All right, I sent a quick message off there. Make sure I don't see Marcus in the lobby yet of the chat. So make sure he's coming in. And the last news story has to do with has to do with actually give me 1 second here, and then we'll get to that last news story. I want to make sure we get Marcus in here promptly so we can get that part of the chat going, right? All right, there we go. And so, the last news story has to do with Seejeanty terminal. So Seejeanty does have a airport, and it's been under construction since 2014. They had a very small little dirt, like imagine a little post office as the terminal, and then in a very large dirt road. And so it's under construction now. That not only is the actual reception room for Seejeanty terminal, Seejeanty being expanded, but additionally, it's being asphalted, right? And so the hope is that there will be more traffic, flights, and movement coming to Seejeanty's area. Now, I've been to Seejeanty, had the fortunateness of going to Seejeanty. Seejeanty is such a beautiful, beautiful city. It's such an incredibly historical city. Like, you see these old school French buildings, and and you can see the opportunity. It's right off the coast, and there's a big, large part of when you're driving into Seejeanty, literally you're like the water's right there, crystal blue waters. And even when you're in the city, you can see, man, this is a place that could be as beautiful as Jacmel, as beautiful as any other part in any other country in the world that you've been to, if you get the right investment. And more importantly, the connectivity. Only recently, the roads to Seejeanty were improved to a point where, before, even then it was a little bit rocky, but by account of everyone I've talked to, it's light years better than what it was, which has improved the economy in the area of Seejeanty. And the thing you have to understand with Seejeanty as well is that it's in the commune of Gundas. Gundas in particular, right? Gundas in particular is a very large, very fertile area of the country that can produce a lot of agriculture. In addition to the potentiality of the fact that the river, the Gundas River, Honestly, I look at the Goodness River and I always wonder to myself, why isn't there a dam here? It's a massive, large river. And in fact, when you're driving into Seejeanty, you have to pass this massive, beautiful bridge, and below is just endless pit, right? That you see the river flowing, and I always thought, man, there should be at some point further up, if there should be a dam here to take advantage of this river and provide electricity to the people of this area and the surrounding area. Okai would benefit as well, for example. And so we're happy to hear that. It's under King Moise. He's doing it, pushing that initiative to get the Seejeanty airport to be improved, right? And you see, fair and balanced. You do good, I highlight your good, right? If you're doing nonsense, then I'm gonna tell you you're doing nonsense, right? Fair and balanced here, right? So those are the news stories. And I know we went through them a lot quicker. I mean, for example, the orphanage is something we're going to spend another 30 minutes talking about. I had to knock these out relatively quickly because we do have our guest that we're looking to welcome and hopefully be a part of it. If he can get into the stream, we'll give Clark Marcus a few more minutes. I think I see him. I think I see him in the lobby there. So we'll get started in just a moment with him. But let me read some of the comments. I know I was going through a lot of the news stories very, very quickly. So I want to see what folks are saying. Let's see, we have Evie saying, let's go Haitian diaspora. Anyone in this live stream knows of a Haitian lawyer that can help spearhead proper legal actions against the so-called organizations that's responsible. Y'all get it, Evie. I get it, Evie. I think there's an opportunity for you guys in the Haitian diaspora to hold the church of what's the name of the church? Let me take a look at my notes here. The Church of where is it? Here it is. The Church of Bible's Understanding in Scranton, Pennsylvania, responsible. Right. Let's get outrage culture that likes to cancel people. Let's go ahead and use that energy to do the right thing for once. And people who are allowed to change things like that to happen when they're receiving 6 points in a year, but then only expense 2.2. There's a problem, and certainly we need to keep our energies where they need to be, and that is certainly something that there's justice for these 15 children who have passed away. God bless their souls. It really breaks my heart to even that. I'm finding back a tear. I'm serious. It's heartbreaking, right? We have Manisha Saint Eloi telling me, have you explained Jovenel Moose? I like that. Have you explained Jovenel Moise wanting to put transitional government to take over? There's not much to explain though, right? I mean, he's ruling by decree. He can do whatever he wants. Will he actually do it? Will it incite people to violence and anger? Maybe. There's not, for me to engage in that question would mean for me to give a political answer. This show's not a political show. It's a show that just reports on the facts. Here's what's happening, right? Once he does that, if he were to do that, and this is all speculation, they're speculating he might do it. He's expressed he wants to do it. But bear in mind, it doesn't exist in a bubble. His backers, the U.S. Embassy and the international community, may not want that. The U.S. State Department has expressed. They said we want elections. This Mike Pompeo, the head State Department guy, has come out in an interview and said we want the Haitian government to hold elections. I don't know anything about a transitional government. I don't know what you're talking about. We want State Department, United States, Tonton Sam. We want elections. That's what they want, right? So again, everything else, everything is just, it's just people talking. And if it happens, again, I'll be one of the first to report it, and we'll stick to the facts, right? We're not a political show. But great question, nonetheless. And then last question here says, Randy Vincent, a dam can't because it will affect the fertilization in the area. Yeah, I don't. Perhaps. I don't. I'm not an agronome. I'm not an agronomist. I don't know. If you're saying it is, and you have the experience, maybe so. But I think there would be some areas that would be affected, certainly. But the general benefits of the electricity that would provide, and the fact that kids would be able to go to school, with electricity, computers, business would be able to execute at much cheaper rates because they don't have to invest in delcos and solar panels and $20,000-$30,000 up front before they make a penny, just so they can turn on a light switch. I would need to have a longer conversation about what the costs and benefits are of a dam, but I would lean towards a dam being more of a benefit, right? So let me engage in this point, and then I'm going to hop with Marcus here. No, Chemours is not seizing land, and so there's a recent issue where there's a school, Lycée Jean-Jacques Dessalines, that was built in a very vulnerable place, seismic-wise. In fact, the school was very much damaged in the past earthquake. A temporary school was sort of built, and they were looking to grow or rebuild a part of the school. And so they did a study. They found another land adjacent is more seismically solid, and they used eminent domain. The government, the larger government body before Chemours, used eminent domain to get that land. It was in sort of this weird spot, as it always is with anything related to land in Haiti, because you had like 20 different people saying it was for them. You had brothers and sisters who one of them actually agreed to sell it. The other one said, no, I don't want to sell it. And it was a lot of back and forth, to the point where he had to intervene himself to speak with one of the owners, who was a mulat, and it was on social media for a while. And the other guy was just going berserk, yelling at police. And he had to intervene physically himself because the school needed to be built. Right, Jean-Jacques is a very historic, important school that needed to be built, and that's what happened. Right, I don't know if Manisha is talking about that or something else more far-fetched. I'm assuming Manisha is a reasonable person, and she's talking about that particular line of questioning. So that's what happened. Is a long answer, and the short answer is no. There isn't randomly taking of land. There's at least reasons provided. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and engage and bring our guest on. So for those who don't know, Claude Marcus Beau is someone who is doing someone of impact. He's someone who has started a group that I heard of a few years ago, helping bridge the gap between Haitian entrepreneurs, native and even in diaspora, to know that there is another way to do business. It's not necessarily importing American products, who at the end of the day, a lot of them come from China anyways, into the country. You can actually go to China. You can sign a relationship with for example, a manufacturer, and you can have them do specialized products specifically to the Haitian market and to bring them on. By the way, my friends on Instagram right now, I'm sorry, you're not really gonna be able to see or hear our next guest. Please, if you're on Instagram right now, and you want to see this interview that we're going to do, please just minimize the IG, go to the Facebook, type in Seejeanty, the same name that you see on Instagram, and then you'll see the live happen on Facebook, or go to YouTube and go to the live on YouTube, and you'll be able to actually see this interview that's coming. Okay. All right. Okay. And so he's worked on his group. He lived in China and Taiwan for quite a few years. In fact, I think he even won a game show. I'll let him talk about that. Some singing competition or something like that, I think. And so he lived in Taiwan. I think now he's in China. And basically, the reason why he's on the show, I brought him on, is because it's very relevant. That we have someone who is looking at the geopolitical nature of the world and saying, there's a way to engage and make it a win-win. Right? There's a way to engage. And make it, for example, a company I know of called DigiCop, which is a solar panel company. And what they do is they import solar panels and inverters and from even batteries from China. But what they do is they customize it, where literally their product, their company name says DigiCap right on there. And so it comes from China, and now they're selling it, domestically. But of course, they have a network of technicians who install it. So jobs are being made, the technicians of folks who maintain it. So again, jobs are being made, jobs are being created despite the product being brought in, right? So in any case, I'm gonna bring Marcus on, and I do want you guys to welcome him. By the way, as he's on, do ask whatever he says. If you have a question, we're gonna read live on here like we usually do. And the goal of this conversation really is to give a different perspective of different ways of doing business and different opportunities that exist in the country. And without further ado, Marcus, hello, my brother. Welcome. Welcome. Now, hopefully, let's do a sound test. I can't quite hear you. We can't quite hear you, Marcus. You may want to change your mic setting. Oh, actually, you know what? It's probably on me. Actually, let me do something. That's probably on me. I got to put my own headphones in. Actually, you're probably fine, Marcus. Give me 1 second. I'll put my own headphones in there. You're probably fine, Marcus. My apologies. I usually do this show without my mic in my headphones, so bear with me here. Okay, test. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yes. Hi. Hello.
Give me 1 second. Let me just take a look at my audio settings, make sure everything is fine.
Let me take this again.
Okay, my audio settings are good. Actually, it could still be me. Actually, let me do something on my part. Could still be me. There you go. That's on me.
All right.
There you go. I'm sorry about that, Mark. I'm so used to doing this show in one particular way. So when I have guests on, I kind of rest in my workflow. So because I usually I mute all my sounds here on my side just to avoid any like dings or notifications happening. So my bad. Marcus, hello.
Yes. Seejeanty, thank you for having me, man.
Yes. I
You've been doing this for a long time, and I want to thank you before we start for being patient, because I see like what I liked about you. Everything seems to be very well organized. You're like, this is the date that I can be in. I appreciate your patience and your time. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thanks for having us. Thanks for being on.
No
and I know we're supposed to do something a little different, but one thing led to another, right?
Different, but by the circumstances.
Yeah, but
let me introduce myself. So sure. I'm Marcus Boro, and I think most people know me as Marcus Bo. I'm a Haitian that been living in Asia for 12 years now, and the situation happened that with everything that is going in China right now, that am I still live?
Yes, you are. Don't worry. When you're giving your points, I'm just gonna get off the side, give you full screen, my friend.
All right. Yes. So yes, with everything that is going on in China right now, it happened that in December that I was home, and I was planning to go back to China mid-February, and then the whole coronavirus outbreak happened at the beginning of January. And the situation in Haiti is quite tough these days. And I'm here in Dominican Republic. We're gonna open IMAR Business Group, which I'm gonna talk about in a few. So that's why I'm here. I'm here, and so I was supposed to be in Haiti. So we were gonna do like a live show, and the situation just like turned around, and I'm in DR, and that's why we're doing the live today.
All right. One of the first questions I'm seeing here is you have a Haitian accent. Where is he from?
Whatever accent though. I mean, I don't know. Like really, my English, because just like I said, I moved to Asia like 12 years ago, and so when I moved to Asia, I knew Spanish. I didn't know English. I didn't know like a word of English. Like I didn't know like she has was the verb of have. Like just to tell you, my English was very bad. And I think like being in Taiwan, because I started in Taiwan. I lived in Taiwan for 7 years. And just being there with so many people, I just have a whatever accent. That's all. That's how I.
Fair enough. So the first question I have. So you said 7 years in Taiwan.
Yes.
When you're in Haiti, where did you grow up in Haiti?
I grew up in Port-au-Prince. Port-au-Prince. Yes. I used to go to Saint Louis Gonzague from primary school to secondary school. Then I spent 1 year at ENST, if people know. Then after ENST, this is when I won a scholarship from the Taiwan government to move to Taiwan.
Okay.
And so when I was in Taiwan, I studied 1 year Mandarin, like full time. 8 to 4.
Okay.
Like really full time.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I studied international business.
Mm-hmm.
And from the international business, I happened to participate in a singing competition which is another story. There's no way to talk
Yeah,
about.
you
But
need
I
to
think,
Google that, by the way. It's something to watch. Y'all need to Google that.
yeah, this is how my journey has literally started in Asia,
Right.
from the singing competition, and,
Yeah.
and it happened. I was a foreigner competing in like for 6 months, and I was the first foreigner to enter the top 10 in the singing competition.
He's dropping that language. Is it Mandarin? No, Taiwanese speak Mandarin, right?
They speak
Okay.
both Taiwanese and Mandarin.
Taiwanese. Okay, that's what it is.
Like,
Taiwanese. So
like
were you singing? Were you singing in Taiwanese or were you singing in Mandarin?
No, I was singing in Chinese.
Chinese.
Because it's like us. We have French and Creole.
Okay.
Like the main people, they speak Creole and everything, administration, blah blah. So they speak English. They speak the French. So it's like this over there.
Okay.
So Chinese is the main language. Anyway, I was doing everything in Chinese, and it happened. I became a finalist, and really this has opened so many doors for me. And this is how my journey has started, and it has been very interesting and
good stuff.
And, different layers. That's how I describe it. Like I've done so many different things, and now anyway, after Taiwan, I moved to Haiti for 3 years. I worked for the Haitian government. I was working at CFI. I don't know if people
the Centre of Facilitation d'Investment. Yeah.
Yes, for facilitation of investment. And so after CFI, I won another scholarship to move to mainland China now, and where I studied my master's. I studied my master's and also international business. And yeah, I've done this for 3 years, and then I was also a consultant for the Haitian government at the Bureau of Commerce of China and of Haiti and China, helping the Chinese that wanted to invest to Haiti, advising them about the whole process and everything. It was very hard for me when I was doing this job because Haiti is very hard to sell. Plus, we don't have diplomatic relationship with China. So this is where I decided, what, with all the connection, the network that I have there, also to mention that I'm also an entertainer in China. I do TV, and I was like, what, there's a lot of opportunities that I can take advantage of, and this is how I happen to open my own company, which is IMAR Business Group. So basically, what we do, we facilitate people that want to do business with China. When I say facilitation, it's just like it's everything that is import and export. But of course, whenever we're selling IMAR to Haiti, we sell the export side because people will export a lot. We import a lot of good from China, but we also want to encourage people that wants to if there's any goods, we're working with people in coffee. We're working people with some clients from Brazil that are selling the acai, for example, to import the products into China. So the idea is to really give people access to the Chinese market because I've been living there for 12 years now, quite familiar to the culture, the environment, and so much more. So yeah, we want to open doors for people to have access to a market like this.
So first, two things. The first is I'm just happy that because a lot of times I read these scholarship sort of announcements with a heavy heart. Even though I'm happy for the individuals, an opportunity to go internationally and really expose their minds. I can tell you, as someone, I was a different person after I went. I lived in right after graduating college. I did a road trip in France. I went to like all the major cities. Came back a different person, and it really expands your mind. So I'm very happy individually for these people, but I'm sad for the country, and many times because these people, these are our best and brightest. Our best and brightest. They're not just going to get anybody. They get our best and brightest guys and women, and then they leave the country, and so often a lot of them don't come back. Why, to be honest, why would you, right? Given the opportunities you may have over there versus what you come back here. But I'm happy that you came back. I'm really happy that you serve as opportunity. Not did you come back, but you come back with connections and opportunity and really a pathway for wealth creation for the folks here. And I just wanted to comment on that.
Because you know what, for me, how I see it is, a lot of the people that studied with me, I see, let's say like before I even go there, like I didn't even know that I was Haiti until I get to live in an international environment where you become so responsible of your country and everything that is happening to your people. And so this is when I started having a sense of responsibility towards Haiti, and yeah, because I speak a lot of languages, and I was like, how can I kind of like give back to the stuff that I learned in Asia, because it has been such an incredible experience. How can I give back to my community? How can I, from what I've learned over there, pass it to like the young generation, whatever people that wants to hear my message? And yeah, so I always wanted to go back and see how can I help, because like when you leave abroad, you have this sense of responsibility for Haiti. It's so weird. Like you think like, oh my God, I'm just living a quiet life in Taiwan. How can I change? So I was like, yeah, I wanted to go back and see what can I do, and this is why I choose to go back, and I stayed there for 3 years. And I always wanted to do my master's degree, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna come back to China again and then do my master's. But still, even after I'm done with the masters, I was like, okay, I want to do a business that I can still connect it, build the bridges between these two countries. And that's why, like, for me, it has been vital. Just
now on that topic of bridging bridges, we just got a question here, but you kind of talked about it, but I want to bring it back. What's your opinion on Haiti relations, which could positively impact the country? And you talked about how briefly you saw the relations with the country, and that's one of the reasons why you kind of wanted to be a part of it. So answer that. How do you see the relations between, well, two places really, Taiwan and Haiti, and then Chinese and Haiti, and opportunities that exist between them?
It's a very complicated situation. It's a very complicated question, and I always try to answer it the most diplomatic way possible. Just to be quick and precise about the whole thing, Haiti has diplomatic relationship with Taiwan, meaning that we do not recognize China. Meaning also that if you work with Taiwan, and not only you cannot work in an official way with China, but also a lot of official doors are closed with China. And we're talking about Taiwan. Just like I said, I lived there for 7 years. I went to a university there. It's an amazing country. However, I think China is also a strong, powerful country in the world that we cannot neglect. As of now, it is very hard for Haiti to have diplomatic relationship with China. I'm not gonna say that we should have diplomatic relationship with China, because I know it's a much more complicated subject. The way I say it is, we should be able to, I don't know how to say that, we should be able to get more from our allies. Now, if we're working with Taiwan, I suggest that our people from the government understand what that means. Understand that, okay, if I'm not working with China, if I'm working with you, that means there's a lot of people that I cannot work with, then your obligation towards me, it's higher, So I would like our people to understand that. I feel like if we can understand that, we can get a better result from what we're doing with Taiwan. I'm not saying that we have to quit Taiwan, that we go to China, because it's way complicated. It's more complicated than just like a move like this, because we have the US involved. You have so many countries.
The geopolitical game. Now to ask, so Taiwan. Let's focus on Taiwan right now. What are some of the best benefits we're getting right now from your perspective, and just from what you know? What are the biggest benefits Taiwan is giving us, and in particular, and then not just in general, but then also how can a potential entrepreneur plug into that benefit ecosystem?
The biggest benefit, and I think I'm part of the result, is the number of scholarship that Taiwan is giving per year. When I started in 2008, it was like 8 scholarship. Now they're giving around like 30 scholarship, which means like it's a 30 always multiplied by 5, because we know if something happened to us, it's just like a multiplied by 5. That's mean Taiwan is giving a lot of scholarship, 30 scholarship. Okay, it's okay. They're helping us in agriculture. They're helping us in infrastructure. But at the end of the day, I don't think those results are what Haiti is in need right now. Because if we choose if we take the example of Nicaragua, Taiwan has helped Nicaragua and so much more. But I have to say, it's because you have to come with project. I don't know if we have any long-term plans. You know what I mean? How can they help you if you don't have a long-term plan? Let's say Nicaragua, Taiwan is helping them to. They have this project of building the Nicaraguan canal. So Taiwan has been, very helpful in that. These people, they come with projects. Right now, I think they're helping us in rice. They're helping us. It's more like a ads versus investment. I know, for example, when I was working at CFI, which is the Center of Promotion of Investment, we had a few Taiwanese investment, but also like compared to the size of those investment, I don't think it's enough. When we see what usually the other countries that are like dealing with these people get. I don't know if you get me.
Yeah, I definitely get it. Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, that's the big thing too. I always tell folks that if Haiti legitimately had they always critique the NGOs and the international community for how the progress that Haiti has had, but at the same time too, I'm like but you realize Haiti itself hasn't had plans to allow these people to engage. Rwanda, I talked about it last episode, how Rwanda is where it's at because they said, hey, here's what our national goals are, right? And here's NGOs, here's what we expect from you to help us get those goals.
Yes. And then if an NGO come in the country, they get them out. If they see like what you're bringing, that's what I say. It's the responsibility is on us because there's a type of monitoring that we should do. It's not like people, they're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna help to build whatever you're gonna build, but also what also you it's all about the leverage, and I think this is for China. We cannot be with China right now, as I'm speaking right now, because there's a lot of infrastructure that we don't have. Even though I love China, I've been living there for so many years, I can tell you that it won't be a great move for Haiti because the Chinese, if you don't know your territory well, they're gonna come and do whatever they want, because you have no control of what you have. So what I always say, it's always bring it as a conversation for people to be mindful, to be like open about like, okay, this is a country. Now, just like I said, I'm in Dominican Republic. I've been meeting with so many young Dominican that are involved in politics, and I see how it works. We're talking about plans. We're talking about like how is DR going to be in 2025? What's the plan in 2040? It's happening now. People are planning. I don't think in the public affairs we have no plans. So when you don't have plans, and it's very hard to be influenced by a now. You do whatever move. It's emotional. It's quick. It's fast. Country don't work like this. We're not talking about a boutique. Boutique. And I feel like what we're doing with Haiti right now is basically that we have a small boutique. You come and go. It's everything happen on a very emotional basis. And I feel like this is not how a country should be governed.
I agree. Now, just follow up. We had someone asking for clarity. Did you mean that is Taiwan offering financial support for entrepreneurs? I didn't hear that, but just want to clarify. You're not saying that, right?
No, they don't offer financial support. Okay. No, it's private. They try their best to. I know a huge group, and it's very sad that people know that there was a huge group, and I think that was like the biggest amount of investment that we've received in the past 5 years. They were going to come. They were going to be in textile. Now, as I'm speaking right now, it's quite private. They are looking for buyers to sell everything because you don't have infrastructures. I always say that our problem is not being poor because actually we see Vietnam, we see Indonesia, we see Malaysia. These people have used the poverty to bring money in the country. It's never about being poor. The problem is about the infrastructure. You don't have security. People are not safe over there. That's the problem.
Yeah, I certainly agree. Now, let's talk about let's hone in IMAR Group. Tell us specifically about like some of the projects perhaps you've brought to fruition, and what are the projects you're really looking for? How can someone gain the most using your company IMAR Group to advance?
It's a very good question. What I always say about IMAR is like we want to be a platform that help people to connect to build this bridge between China. And what we're doing right now, as I'm speaking right now, is mostly import export. But also it's a facilitation. We do the whole chain of facilitation that with people that wants to connect with China. What we do is like we help people to source product. We help, and we know what China sometimes, unfortunately, means when it comes to business. There's a lot of scammers. So we help people to secure the business when it comes to dealing with China. We help them to do company legal background check. We help them in any legal aspect, because one of the things that we're trying to teach them, our clients, is how to do business, because we realize that even though people have been doing business for so many years, sometimes there's a lot of layers in international trade that they don't control. So we're trying to just like really give them the best assistance possible to just like make them feel comfortable. We do logistics. We help people to transport the goods from China to Haiti. One of the services that we're offering as well, which is very important, like, because we know, and a lot of people mind, because they want to do business with China, but they think that they have to do a full container. So we also offer like consolidation services, where we just like consolidated cargo for different buyers in China. We put them out in our warehouse over there, because we have warehouses and all the main ports in China. It's a way to facilitate people, to just like make them feel comfortable about like starting small, because we see the type of economy that we have right now. We cannot rely on government anymore, because the country has been locked for so many months. The people, the way that they can survive is to have their own thing, is to have their own business. And by having their own business, they have to be able to start small. So that's one of the things that we want to do with IMAR. But also talking about the business thing, I also say I want this platform not to be only about like business, which is buying and sell. IMAR also want to help entrepreneurs to build the bridges with China. We are about to launch. Like, and I remember when I spoke to you, Seejeanty, I don't know if you remember, I told you that when we were like setting up the date, I was like, we're gonna do something in February 15, which was gonna be yesterday, because we were gonna launch the IMAR leadership program, because we have signed with Alibaba Business School past year. And for what? We want to bring young entrepreneurs from the Caribbean to do like short and long-term internship or workshop in China, because we're talking about China is the manufacturer of the world. It's also like the center of technology, the center of everything that is e-commerce. So we thought that by signing a contract with such an important firm like this, we could not only help the people that are like doing business, but also the young. Because I firmly believe in the young entrepreneurs. I firmly believe that if we can help them to understand China, like as in an early stage, they can be able to do more. So this program was going to be all about that. I'm a leadership program to just like help the young Haitian, because we have the representation for Haiti and Dominican Republic and also Mexico. So it was a kind of like way to just like the young entrepreneurs from Haiti can know the young entrepreneurs from DR, they can know the young entrepreneurs from Mexico, and kind of like build this type of like partnership and global friendship that we firmly believe. Unfortunately, with the coronavirus, it was hard for me to promote the program, because China, it's going through a tough time right now. People can't travel, and even I couldn't even tell someone to travel, because I can't even travel back there myself. So so the program we hoping by next year, because we were gonna start with a summer program first, which is short term, having people to be there for 1 month. But I'm hoping that next year we can launch it.
Certainly, and I do hope I can send somebody from Seejeanty Media, if not myself, to cover the event and then broadcast the episode on Seejeanty's channel.
Yes.
Certainly. So
remember that was
certainly. So yeah.
Because at the moment we start speaking, the corona just started.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it was so positive that it was gonna be something for 1 week.
Yeah.
I didn't. It was.
I'm sure. China will get ahead of it, just because they built 3 hospitals in like less than a week or some crazy number. So they'll if any country, the country that coronavirus decided the wrong country to go to, China will get ahead of that and figure it out. That is for sure. So tell us about a success story. Tell us about one group of entrepreneurs here in Haiti, and then how did you help them? Give us one concrete example of how you walk us through that entire relationship.
Man, we have so many success stories, and I think the beauty with what we're doing right now is that we're helping different type of people. And if I can tell you about a main, the bigger one for me is one of our client that in their negotiation they weren't dealing with IMAR before, right? So they had an issue with a contract that they had in China. Something happened and they were about to lose $1 million, and they contracted IMAR to be the legal representative, and we helped them to get this money back. So that was one of, and the guy was so happy. And but let me tell you something, those things happen because I always say it's not always the fault of the Chinese suppliers. Sometimes there's a lot of layers that we don't take into consideration when we're doing business. We always advise people to have a sales contract because we're talking about international business. You need a sales contract. So there was something that happened in the way that client negotiated with this Chinese, and yes, he was about to lose that $1 million. So we helped them. It was like a case that took, I think, 3 to 4 months. Checking everything to, and at the end he ended up like winning the case. So that was super interesting for us. And he's a big client in Haiti. But also one thing for us, we have different types of success stories. So that was for someone that is like have the one that is in the middle class that wants to connect with China, that has been dealing with so many problems, because we know how we do business usually. It's because we do business in a very secretive way. That's when you have the contact, you keep it for yourself. So I've had like a lot of people that are like genuinely happy because they feel like they're connected. They feel like they are safe to do business. And also someone that, that has no idea about how to enter this market, and now they feel like, okay, also Haiti, also Haitien apparemment vivre en Chine. So they happy, and I feel like if we can help these people to just like open, these doors and see like how later when I come to Haiti, they invite me to their house to eat. I meet their family. They travel to China because one thing that we do as well, we host a business trip twice a year, because I'm a way to do business. It can be different from how to say, from a traditional trade company, because trade company, they like to hold information, but we don't do things like this. We want to invite people to come because we believe that when they go to China, they will be more comfortable to do business with China. So we host trip every twice a year, and people, they come. It become like more of a family thing. So it's different type of people, different type of needs, and we happy that we can help different type of buyers as well to connect with a country like China.
Now, you mentioned something that's very interesting. I want to key in on, so as one of the last question or two that I'm going to ask you is, you said that it isn't just one direction, right? It isn't just people trying to bring stuff in. Tell us about the other way. How can you help whoever with whatever someone may have here in Haiti get their product to China or Taiwan, and then maybe a concrete example of one such company or group of people you've helped in that way.
Yes, because this has been my approach, because just like I mentioned, I'm doing TV over there, so I'm very well connected when it comes to distribution channels in China, and I see what is happening right now when it comes to foreign product entering the Chinese market. I have friends working with with Africa and everything. Now China is at a very interesting phase, because they're opening door to people. They just host in past October the second edition, which was the biggest import show in the whole world. It was China inviting foreign countries to come and explore the market. You have Germany, you have Spain, you have so many countries, and it was very sad for me.
What's the name of the show? What's the name of that conference? What was it? So I can
IIE.
Okay.
The CIIE.
Okay.
Wait, let me see. CIIE, Shanghai. Yeah, China International Import Export Expo.
Okay.
China International Import Expo, CIIE. Yeah, so basically what is going on right now is just like they're very open. They have this politic that they want to yes, the China International Import Export, CIIE. So with the CIIE, like countries that had like zero chances to enter the Chinese market, now they do have chances. And for us, when we set up the our company, we saw that this is the future right now, because a lot of people are buying from China. It's not a secret. Like now we helping them to buy at better rates. For example, at a more competitive rate, we are assuring a better quality for them. But without us, they can still do it. I was so honored in our way. But we see that there's a huge opportunity when it comes to getting the money from China. And unfortunately, we haven't helped any one from Haiti yet. I've had a few people reaching out to us that are in coffee, that are in vetiver, that wants to get to the Chinese market. But I always tell them it's to get there, because of course, if your product can successfully enter the market, we're talking to an access of 1.4 billion people. So that's mean like you can it's huge. You can explode, and we've seen it with Rwanda. And the beauty with also of not us entering the Chinese market right now is it's a higher risk. Now we have countries from Africa that are taking this risk. Now the Rwandan coffee, which is called Gorilla, for example, is been doing incredibly well in the Chinese market, and it took them 2 years to have a successful market research. So meaning that it's gonna be easier for us whenever we're ready to access a market like this, because people now, when they do broadcast, because broadcast is very popular in China, when they do live broadcast, they are used to seeing a black owner of a coffee from Rwanda being sold. You know what I mean? So we have like different type of stories like this. But for us, we're working with clients in Brazil. We bringing the acai over there, which is a product from the Amazon. We also working with some beauty product, because the cosmetic industry, it's huge in China, and there's a lot of money, because they like the Chinese girl, they like something called BMA. They like beauty, just like everywhere else. But I think in China, it's very pronounced, very advanced. So cosmetic product, it's a very advanced and very lucrative in China. So yeah, so we're working with this with these brands, and we're helping them to get the product in China, and we're quite successful so far.
Okay.
But like, of course, I mean, I would love to see a Haitian product, like successfully entering the Chinese market. And yeah, so we have been in touch, like I said, with a few business owners over there. So we hope that by the time that things get more stable in China, we can continue the conversation, because we have stopped.
So what is the best way for someone to reach out to you? What's your process like? Just an idea, and then you kind of like, is this gonna work? I mean, how do you?
I know. I'm quite formal when it comes to the way I do business. I like to say by email, because I know if someone sit down and behind a computer to write an email, you kind of like know like probably their attention is higher, But we open to they can start, I don't know, the way they want. They can reach out to us via Instagram. Our page is IMAR Business Group. Can I type something? What do I type? Anything?
I think you can type, but just in case, I put your website down. So imarbusinessgroup.com, and there's a contact up there.
The website, right. And our Instagram is the same, IMAR Business Group, and we have a phone number. It's +509. Can you type it for me?
Sure, no problem. +509.
36.
36.
87. 5035.
5035. Yeah.
Yes, this is our WhatsApp in Haiti. Yes, perfect. So people can contact us via this number. If they're in Haiti, they can call this number as well. And we also have an office in Haiti. We are at 84 Bois Vernat. 84, 84 Boisvernat.
Okay.
So yes, because we like to say, we have everything, so people, they can feel comfortable and just like passing by, which a lot of people do. They just like pass by, they just like talk to us, see how legit we are when it comes to because there's no, if you tell someone to not do business with scammers, they want to make sure that if they do business with you, that it's a safe contact. So
yeah,
people are free to just like visit us directly and then call us at one of these numbers.
And really, leave us with some final thoughts, man. Like, how do you, what do you want to talk about that maybe we didn't talk about that really would help us understand, how this opportunity?
Well, I mean, my final thoughts would probably be for Haiti though, because I feel like, I've been there the past few days. I see how, things are just like going so bad, and it's just like a responsibility that I feel like we all have to. Yes, I still have Haiti citizenship. I'm full Haitian. I'm just a black Chinese. But yeah, I feel like it's very sad when it comes to the country situation, and I just hope that we can be more thoughtful about everything that is going on. See how we can participate a bit more. I know it's tough. I know if you don't have security, it's very hard to ask people to be involved. If we don't have these basic things, which is security, but at least I feel like we have to work more together. I feel like there's a lot of when I went back, that was my sense. It's a lot of like there's a lot of singleness happening over there. It's just like we don't trust each other. We cannot work together, and for me, it's very sad. I'm here in DR because I've been living in Asia for 12 years. I see how the Chinese work. I see the future is into collaboration. We have to know how to work together, and it's very sad to see like how we just we're quite far from this. And so my final thought would be like we just have to have more faith in us, because I feel like sometimes we trust the foreigner more than we trust our people. So have more faith in us and try to work more together, because I still firmly believe that better days are coming if we work together.
Boom, boom. And I think you and I working together, and I think some of the things you said have certain triggered some thoughts and concepts about some of the business things I'm executing right now in the country. So I know for sure you and I will be working together very soon with getting some stuff out to there and to some stuff in here. So certainly thank you. I do hope some of my viewers consider some of the things they may be doing and hit you up. And listen, Marcus, I want to thank you so much for coming out, for giving us the chance to discuss and chat. And certainly I know for sure this is not the last time we'll be on Seejeanty. You're going to be back. When you're back in the country, you're going to have a more formal one-on-one under Palais sort of deal at least, or maybe something more engaging with the Haiti Business Spotlight, potentially, depending on what you got going on. For example, the school, this opportunity you have.
Yes. We got a lot of things in store for people. I just hope that both Haiti and China can be safe, because me personally, I'm just strapped. You see, like someone is strapped. Haiti is not doing well, and China's not doing well. Like, what do I do? This is my life. But I'm still very, very hopeful about everything, and I hope that we can keep the conversation. And if anyone watching today is interested about anything that we talked today, feel free to reach out, and we'll be very happy to help you.
Marcus, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your Sunday, brother. Thank you.
All right, you too.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
And that was Marcus, guys. Marcus was IMAR group, as I mentioned. He is someone Haitian native who had the chance to go to Taiwan. And since has, just like so many of us, we see the plight of our people here in the country, and we don't accept, number one, the programming. We've been told that it's unsafe, that it's this and that. We refuse to accept that. Number two, we have a massive empathy that it has to be us, because it's not going to be them for sure. It has to be us, and he's leveraging every bit of his resources to help the country. I mean, as you heard, he's a massive. He's being a little humble. He's a massive star in China. He's like the freaking Kevin Hart of Taiwan right now, Haitian wise. Haitian Kevin Hart. He didn't have to come back. He didn't have to do any of what he's doing, but he had a responsibility as a Haitian to do his part and not just wait for the Haitian government, which is never going to get its act together to help its people. And he's doing something great where he's literally working with entrepreneurs looking to come into, leveraging Taiwanese and Chinese items and customize and make it suitable specifically for the Haitian market. In addition to, as you heard, he's desperately looking for Haitian native entrepreneurs to be able to take their product and bring them to China and make it a win-win. And so hats off to Marcus. I want to thank him for coming on. And I hope he serves as an inspiration to someone here on the stream, because a lot of times you can hear, you can get used to me talking about the opportunities that exist. And next I say blah, blah, blah. But eventually I think I'll bring enough people on who are actually doing stuff, not just talking about it, but doing stuff. And enough, maybe on the 5th or 6th or 100th time, maybe you guys will get it. Maybe you guys will say, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe I can do something. Maybe I can impact, and do something. Because I can tell you, me being here, I have pushing a dozen employees that would be unemployed if I wasn't here doing stuff. I know my impact, right? And a few years down the road, I want to change my 12 employees to 100 employees to 1,000 employees. That's my impact, right? And so just think about the impact you could be making if you could also make the jump and engage and push. Just think about that. And that's going to be my final thoughts. Again, so very happy that Marcus could join us today. So just a quick recap. We had YouTube Seejeanty. We had Mike Bello, I should have mentioned him actually when I was talking to Marcus, someone who had an opportunity to get a Taiwanese scholarship himself and lived there for a while. Also came back and created this awesome product, this solar backpack that is able to capture energy in this little battery that's inside the bag, and then allow Haitian kids to allow them go home to just blackness and darkness. And electricity is a big issue, and plug in their product, plug in their cell phones or a little light, and it also has its own little light you can turn on. In fact, you know what? Let me do something. I'll do something even better for you guys. Right? Take a look at it. Here's the bag that was on the episode, right? Just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It has this little solar panel right here, right? And right in here, you can see this is where the little light would be. I haven't been outside or anything. I'm not sure it's going to turn on or anything. But then you have this little USB here that you can plug your stuff in. And look how spacious this bag is. Incredible, right? And if you haven't seen it, the link to the episode's down below. In the episode, there's info to how to get your own. Again, a lot of times people want to bring in backpacks from America, from Walmart. Why? Right? I already showed you 2 backpacks. And by the way, this is the first backpack I showed you. They were working with Isaac de Rozier, and so that so this comes from China, but all the rest of this is not only made in Haiti, but this material right here. This comes from recycled plastic, same nasty recycled plastic that be on the streets. They wash it, they clean it, they make it into a mold, and now you're removing plastic waste off the streets and giving kids electricity and a place to store their goods. So, if you haven't seen that episode yet, stop what you're doing after this stream's over. Go to YouTube Seejeanty, go check that video and share it. On top of that, go and share that video. Again, that's someone else who also decided to bring back his talents back to South Beach, back to Haiti to do good stuff. So that's Mike Bell. If you haven't seen that episode, make sure to go watch it. Haiti Business News website is a site that exists, brings all the relevant business topic news that's going on in the country into one site for you to review and check out. So even though we're not doing this show every day like we're used to, make sure to go check that show out, HaitiBizNews.com. If you like this episode, and I think it's going to be one of my favorite episodes, like I tell you, make sure you go and share this stream, share it on your personal Facebook, share it in a group, share it on your WhatsApp, just direct message. Man, this dude Seejeanty is doing some cool stuff, man. Go check him out, share it, boom. Share this out, let's get the word out, let's get more engagement, let's get more folks here on our weekly shows. Again, we're doing these shows every week, every Sunday, 11 a.m. God allow it to happen. If there's a change, I'll definitely let you know in advance, but all else equal, we're always going to aim for 11 a.m. And before I go, let me take a quick look at some of the last, comments the folks are saying before I head out. Because remember, this is an engaging show, and I read all comments on air. We got Bo. Hey, man, what's up, Bo? someone I always expect to see in here. I don't ever see him in here. I'm glad to see you here, Bo. What's up, man? Absolute solidarity among Chinese, coordination, our Chinese greatest strength. I totally agree with you, Bo. Good to have you in here. Hope to see you again. Wap Mini, if you are in here, make sure to talk more. Don't be a silent creeper. Great interview by Wap Mini. Hopefully folks spread the word of this guy's website information. Absolutely. Right. Manu Mansa Musa says, true. I know some Haitians are here in the States, turn their back on their own country. Alexis says, Haiti look elsewhere for security. I think we should look with it. That's the short answer. We need to really, Haiti needs to do what it needs to within itself to secure itself. And more importantly, the diaspora needs to see what they can provide while we're still waiting and still trying to hold our government accountable, right? Our government, at the end of the day, our roads start and end with the Haitian government. So I don't ever want to tell you that, Haitian diaspora, we're able to do it alone. That's not the case. We're talking craziness. But at the same time, too, we just can't wait and do nothing, right? And so the long game, though, is to see what we can do to change the government so the government can finally take its responsibilities and work for its people and not for itself, right? Manu Matza says, tell people they speak French or are from France rather than say they speak Creole and are from Haiti. I don't quite understand that comment there. Mari L. Arthurs, a great show today. Thank you. First time I'm seeing your comment there, Madam Mari. Hope to see you again. And don't be a creeper. Do comment and let's chat next time you're on. Mike Bello, episode Seejeanty was a great episode. Thank you for watching it. Shana Mill, great show as always. Thank you. I certainly appreciate it. Great episode. Edwin Williams says, great episode. Thank you so much. And listen, guys, this is where we're going to end it. I want to thank you all for a lot of you guys I saw from the very beginning when I started the stream almost 2 hours ago. Now it's at the end of 2 hours and you guys are still there. So thank you for those who watched from the beginning, those who popped in and out. Appreciate you too. And again, listen, guys, until we're back at it again, you know what it is. We're back at it again. Peace.